iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
My name is Alex Timbers, and I'm the director of Moulin Rouge.
My name is Sonia Taya. I'm the choreographer of Moulin Rouge.
My name is Justin Levine. I'm the music supervisor, orchestrator, arranger, dance arranger, and additional lyrics by.
And my name's John Logan, and I wrote the book.
Moulin Rouge is a story about impossible love set against fin de siècle Paris, and with the sort of greatest catalog of pop songs from the last century.
I've been attached from the beginning. You know, I think 3.5, almost 4 years ago, when Alex Timbers first called me to talk about it, and I thought it was the most thrilling idea I'd ever heard for a musical. And I've been involved with it since then, and it's been amazingly rewarding all the way along. And you know, because I've worked extensively in film and theater, I sort of know the difference between those two forms. So the great challenge for writing the book and creating the narrative was realizing that film can exist, especially Baz's great film, on kinetic energy and jump cuts and crane shots, none of which exist in the theater. In the theater we have character songs and things happen in real time. You have to build things in a certain way. So the architecture and the DNA of the two forms was different. So I always looked at it as an original musical. And you know, my first discussion with Alex, I said, look, we'd be mad not to go into this with what I called a musical dramaturg, someone who knew music so well and could be a part of the process from the very first discussion, and that was Justin.
That's me. And actually, one of the first things that we discussed that first week we spent holed up in a hotel room was about how to translate that cinematic style. And we very, very quickly came to the conclusion that music was one great way to do that, because you can have you know, medleys and mashups and surprises, you know, which is part of the original conceit of the film itself. So, you know, you're hearing a song that you've known your whole life as if you're hearing it for the first time, or maybe you thought you knew those lyrics, but they have a new meaning when they're, you know, coming from the voice of a character.
I think, you know, Baz is an incredibly visionary filmmaker. He's virtuosic in the way he uses the camera, the way he uses editing, whip pans, fast cuts, things like that we just can't do in the theater. So one of the most exciting challenges is figuring out, okay, in an adaptation process, we can't do what he did in the movie. Like, how do we create our own theatrical vocabulary to get across that same feeling and emotion and speed? And closeness and proximity and intimacy, but with our own theatrical techniques.
We adore the movie, and really this adaptation comes from a place of admiration and love for Baz and CM's vision for it. And so, you know, most of the original score is still there. And really what we wanted to do in the translation of the style into this medium was find ways to, as, you know, Baz and I have discussed, you know, sort of take the ball and run with it. And so I'm a very old soul, and so I wasn't just excited about, you know, bringing in songs that came out after the film, but actually expanding the catalog of that score to over a century of popular music, because, you know, the film and in turn our show is very operatic in nature, and, you know, what Puccini was doing in his day is not that different from what Lady Gaga is doing now, and many other, you know, brilliant pop writers.
And it's certainly what Baz encouraged us to do. From the very first discussions, you know, he said, I don't want you to just put my movie on stage. You have to be artists. You have to make it your own. And the brilliant conceit, as Justin said, of the movie is that it's pop songs in a classic period story. But since the movie came out, you know, Beyonce has happened, Adele has happened, so the pop language is different. So we were able to enjoy that as well.
It really has been a dream cast scenario. They can truly do anything. This ensemble of artists, they just excel in the art form. They excel in dance. Their technical facility is remarkable. And it's just been, which gives you more drive to do better and be better and fill them with all of that because they're capable. It's just been constantly inspiring because you're walking in with a really strong palette.
Yeah, I mean, it's extraordinary. We've cast the show for over a year, so we saw so many people as we were trying to figure out who the perfect people to embody these roles are. And when you've got these wonderful actors who are all triple threats and have this incredible mix of skills and qualities and complexity, I feel like we really got incredibly lucky.
Alex, as you know, our fearless leader, you know, Alex and I have worked together for 11 years, and what I always had to remind myself of was that Baz chose Alex for that very reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, is there a bit of a sort of gut check when I'm talking to someone, they say, oh, I played Come What May when my child was born. And you're like, wow, okay, I hope we don't disappoint you. But along the way, we've been so respectful of Baz's work and of that movie, and we just have such passion for it that I think the audience has sensed it. They sense our admiration for that movie and are just wanting to joyously expand it to a piece of theater.